Hello and welcome to the Offside Flag. This is episode number 4. I'm Dan.
I'm Gavin.
And today we are going to be talking about the English Football League draw. We touched on this last week. I've got a little bit to say about it, so just bear with us. I think you might find that what I've got to say might be a little bit controversial, but it's ridiculous, to be honest. What we're also going to touch on, we've had a little bit of we've gone around it a little bit the last few episodes, but we're going to today we are actually going to touch on has the top 4 now become the top 6. We count down our final 3 teams in our Premier League preview, which is West Brom, Watford and West Ham. And then what we're going to do is, because we've had so many questions, we've implemented the viewers' questions into our topics. So we're going to do it that way today. So we will get on with it. So Wednesday afternoon, the English Football League draw was done, and I was correct when I said that there would be a lot of negativity to it. Especially the fact that the first thing that came out on Twitter after the draw was made was hashtag boycott the Football League Football League trophy, which you know stands in good stead. I can understand why people are cheesed off. I mean, for example, like I've mentioned before, I'm a Shrewsbury Town fan, and it's supposed to be a regional draw. And we've got a 400-mile round trip to Middlesbrough.
Who doesn't want to go? Well, it's a very nice place. You enjoy it.
In November. Don't get me wrong, Middlesbrough's a nice place. Okay, I've been there when we played there in the FA Cup a few years ago. But really, a regional draw, 200 miles there and back, on a Tuesday night in November. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Also, how can Cambridge, who are south of West Brom, be in the northern draw, and West Brom be in the southern draw?
It doesn't come with a map, this tournament, does it?
No, it's like the Football League have literally put a map up on a dartboard and just thrown stuff at it and thought, right, this will be north, this will be south, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on about this, but I mean, also the way that they've done it and the way that fans have reacted to it. I mean, I don't understand how clubs are going to break even in their gates. I can't see it. I mean, I think one of the rules is that the academy side, apart from West Ham, who seem to have managed to get away with it, have got to play their games at their club's first team stadium. You're going to get what, less than 1,000 at games like Middlesbrough, Cambridge, or games like that. I mean, I don't see how this is a financial benefit to a Football League club, and to the Premier League club for that matter. I mean, don't get me wrong, where finances are concerned, okay, I care a lot more about Football League clubs than I do about Premier League clubs financial wise, but it's still not right. It's still, something is still going to leave a gap. And I mean, the amount of games that are in there is ridiculous. I mean, we're going to come on to it in a couple of episodes' time, but they scrapped the quarterfinals of the FA Cup draw, so the big teams didn't have to play more games. But now you've got Football League teams who play 46 games a season. Now they're going to have to play a minimum of 3 Football League trophy games. Plus then they've got the FA Cup, which has still got replays until the quarterfinals. So there's a possibility of that. And then they've got the League Cup on top of that as well. So players that are on 150, 200 grand are being protected by playing, they can't play this amount of games, they'll be tired. And then you've got players that are on between 500 and 3 grand a week who are having to play 60 odd games a bloody season. And it's not right. It just isn't.
No, I suppose to play devil's advocate, the players at the top level will be playing international football in their in midweek games. But I see your point. I still think that the lower league teams are the ones that are going to be affected the most by this. I think 60 games for a lower league footballer. Said it's little things like the recovery process wouldn't be as quick. They wouldn't have the physios. Wouldn't have all the sort of masseuses or whatever else they get up to. Getting back up to recovery. So, yeah, I think the lower league teams are... This is not a format that's considering their fitness at all.
Yeah, I'm just going to come back to your point about the international and European games. So poor little Man United have got to go to Barcelona on a Wednesday night. What a shame. On a plane.
Well, not this season. They're safe from that.
Yeah, I know, but it's just an example. I mean, you got... Not being funny, you've got like... it's going to take Shrewsbury about 3.5 hours to get to Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Okay, but you've got an international side that can jump on a plane. It's going to take them an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Probably going first class and everything like that as well. So yes,
it just seems like people are looking out for the bigger teams.
I agree.
The academy teams that are in there. Who have we got? We've got Everton, Wolves, Stoke, Blackburn, Derby, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, Leicester, Reading, Swansea, Chelsea, who, by the way, have also managed to change all their fixtures. I think they're still playing at their home ground, but I think they've managed to change everything. West Ham, Southampton, Norwich, Brighton and West Brom as the academy teams.
It's a mockery, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm flummoxed. I really am. Why not? I went to the Shrewsbury Town Hibernian game yesterday, and somebody mentioned about to make up the numbers to put the top 6 from the football conference into the Football League trophy, which would make it a bit more competitive, and you'd probably get bigger crowds because obviously the football conference sides will want to try their luck against the Football League sides. And I think that probably would have been the better way around it, but unfortunately it looks like the Premier League have handed the Football League a little bit of dollar and got their way, and they shouldn't have. I just don't think that that's the right way forward for it. I know I keep ranting on, but at the end of the day, the academy teams play in their own under-21, under-23 league. They have their own competitions. They should be playing their own competitions. If Premier League clubs want to get them into the first team, then they should be getting them into the first team, or they should be sending them out on loan, which they have done. I think possibly the reason why they might have done this year is because you can only have 6-month loans at a time in the Football League, but still
6 months of exposure to, as I said, low league football, which I think does do players the world of good. Even Beckham went to lower league football, didn't he? So
yeah.
But going on to the top 4. Well, we established top 4 for 10, 15 years, something like that.
Yeah, it's got to be that, hasn't it? No.
Yeah, and we're trying to work out now with the emergence of Tottenham and Leicester as third and first, whether they've actually broken into top 6. Well, made it a top 6. I don't think so. I think top 5. I think Spurs are going to have longevity. Young nucleus of players. I think they'll be in the title challenge. As long as they keep that nucleus of players, they should be fine. Was the youngest average age, wasn't it? Of I think like the top teams. I think it was Spurs.
Yeah, they had a very youthful side last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think top. What we're looking at here, we've got Man United, Man City,
Yeah.
Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs.
Yeah.
For
me, it's those five, and then I think Leicester will gradually fade away more and more. I think they'll finish about 6th this season, but then they'll start to go down the league slowly.
Yeah, I think give it a couple of years, it might actually become the top 7. I think with those 5 sides, plus West Ham, which we're going to talk about a little later on. Plus West Ham, plus Liverpool, I think Jurgen Klopp will do his magic there, and they'll be there and thereabouts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's probably top 5 at the moment. I think Leicester was a bit of a Blackburn in a way, and it was a bit of a. I wouldn't say it was a freak result for them, because they played very, very well all season, and they deserve to win the Premier League. There was nothing fluky about it. But I just think other teams around them, the big teams, well, the so-called big teams, that what they've done is they've seen this, they've gone off into the transfer market and thought, hey, we can't have this again.
No.
And I think it's going to be a lot different this term. I can't see Leicester being in the top 7 this season.
Well, I've got to admit, Kante is a big loss. I think if I was to pick any player from Leicester, it probably would be Mahrez first, but then Kante a close second. So I think
Rumours about it that Arsenal are trying to sign Mahrez. So apparently Arsenal have printed off Leicester City's team sheet from last year and put a tick next to everybody that they want to sign, I think, by the looks of it.
Well, it surprised me he didn't go straight to Arsenal, because he's young and he speaks French. So, I mean, he's pretty much...
pretty much Arsene Wenger's bread and butter, isn't he?
Exactly, so...
But yeah, I think Leicester are going to lose a couple of players, so I think that might be a downfall for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I agree with Gav on this one. I think the top 5 is probably how it is at the moment. Give it a couple of years, and I think it might be a lot different. And we'll tell you why in a couple of minutes once we've been through the preview for the last 3 teams. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the last 3 teams. We're going to start with West Brom, who their fans were a little bit disillusioned at the end of last season with the style of football from Tony Pulis, which is
understandable.
Yeah, not surprising, to be honest. Like he gone in there, and I can understand why Berahino wants to leave. I'll be honest with you, I can understand why anybody would want to leave West Brom, to be honest, and that's nothing on the fans, because the fans turn up there every week. They have the right to voice their opinion, and after when I watch them on the TV, I agree with them. I mean, it's not pretty, and Tony Pulis just doesn't play a style of football that is conducive to today's sort of expectancy from football teams. At the end of the day, yes, results matter, but fans pay 35, 40 quid a week and they want to be entertained. Now, if you're sat in row Z at the back of the stand, then you're probably going to get more entertainment than you are sat in row A.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get a neck strain either, to be honest. One thing I will say, though, is, and I know Berahino wants to leave, but one thing I will say is I agree with the club with the way that they've treated Berahino. Berahino signed a contract to play for West Bromwich Albion. So, you sign a contract to play for West Bromwich Albion, you play for West Bromwich Albion until you are told otherwise. So coming out and threatening on Twitter to never play for the chairman again or never play for the club again is absolutely bang out of order. And if it was up to me, he'd have been playing in the reserves for the rest of his contract. But the club stuck by him. Now I understand he's turned down a deal.
Yeah.
At West Brom, which is fair enough because he's coming to the end of his contract. But while you're under contract at a football club, you have no right to dictate whether you play or not.
No.
At the end of the day, if you didn't want to play for that club, you shouldn't have signed that contract.
It's like Tevez did this during a Champions League game, didn't he? I think
Yeah.
refused to come off the bench. I think it's the worst thing you can do as a footballer, really, just to go against your manager's orders or the chairman's orders in this case, like that. But where would Bellerin go? Because a few seasons ago I heard about Spurs, but I'm guessing with the sign of Janssen and Kane's emergence as one of the top strikers in the league, I don't think they'd be interested.
I believe there's rumours that, and these are just strictly rumours at the moment, that Stoke have made a £20 million bid for him.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what? I've changed my opinion on Stoke, and I think it'd be a good fit for Berahino because he'd have Shaqiri, Bojan, and Arnautovic playing around him. And if that was the case, Stoke could do pretty well this season because they're pretty solid at the back. But Mark Hughes has transformed that club from the Tony Pulis era totally. And I think, I know I'm giving Tony Pulis a bit of a battering here, but again, it's opinions. Football is an opinionated game. And me personally, I'd like to see the Arsenal style of football with the end product.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a ball being smashed 50, 60 yards in the air and hoping that someone gets on the end of it down the other end of the field. If I wanted to do that, I'd go and watch the Sunday League team.
I've got to say, as Premier League neutral, Arsenal are probably my favourite team to watch. So it's said the passing style is fantastic. It's just I don't want to say this about Giroud again, but I mean it's just Giroud, really, isn't it? That's I think the problem. But if they had a decent striker, I think they would be very very close to the title.
Anyway, we've tailed off a little bit here, so
yes, back to London again, I suppose. Watford, who there's a saying that you can't buy success, but Watford seem to have disproved that by buying a player called Success.
Yeah. Do you know anything about him?
Apart from his name, no. He comes quite expensive. I think he's about 14 million. So I think a club like Watford spending that amount of money, you'd think it'd be for a big signing. So again, this is I touched on this a couple episodes or last episode or whatever it was. The joy of a new season. Some people could put him in their dream team, and then he could turn out to be a fantastic player for them. But a player we do know a bit about is Sinclair, who's another player we touched on in a previous episode with
Wants a bit more money and is buggered off to another club.
Yeah, pretty much.
While we're at it, they do have a new manager as well in Walter Mazzari. Do you know much about him?
Not a great deal. I believe he's the ex-Sampdoria manager. I do like to watch Serie A, and he gets Sampdoria well organised. Well, he had Sampdoria well organised, which is typical for any manager in Italy, really. Defensively strong. So I think Watford will be okay this season because as long as you're solid at the back and you can get the odd goal, and Agallo and Dini will probably provide those, you're probably okay. As Defoe proved with Sunderland last season, didn't he? So, yeah.
I disagree. I think Watford are going to struggle this season. I think if Dini's got to score goals, Igalo's got to score goals, but I just think who was their manager last season?
Oh no!
Chico
Flores.
Flores, yeah. Flores. I mean, not being funny, but he's left the club. Why?
Well, he got sacked, didn't he? But I mean, it's unfairly because he got into the FA Cup semi-final, which I don't think should be an evaluation of what you're doing because of Pardew. But then he kept Watford up, which is all you can really do. And then, so really, he's met his objectives. I can't see what he's actually.
I mean, if it was like, I think part of the reason why he went was it was one win in the last 13 games of the season.
True.
But by this time, Watford were safe anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, for a team to be promoted and then be safe with 13 games to go, effectively, I think it's a massive thing, and I think he was harshly done by, to be honest with you. I think he was. I think it was by mutual agreement, but I think the owners have nudged him out a little bit. I think he's been a bit unlucky.
Yeah, I think that's it. Every time you read a mutual agreement, you presume that the manager's been sacked. That's what I would say. Mutual agreement.
Yeah.
But on to a topic we're going to discuss in quite a lot of depth now is West Ham and their recent signings. Got Feghouli from Valencia. Strangely, a free transfer. I think read about it. He's got 31 goals, 40 assists in the last 6 seasons. So I've done my homework on this, and
good man, because I haven't.
He's a player who could emulate Tamares in that regard. I think the likes of Payet, Feghouli, Lanzini, all these creative players. I think they could actually, if anyone's going to break into that top 5 I talked about, it would be them or Liverpool. So I have high expectations for West Ham, especially with the new stadium. That should keep the more established names there. And what do you think about West Ham's new stadium?
We had a. Can I just touch on before we go on to that? They allowed James Tompkins to leave to Crystal Palace for £10 million. Now, I find that quite strange because I quite rate James Tompkins. I think he's a solid defender. So I think that's probably the one bit of transfer business that I think they've got wrong this summer. But I suppose, obviously, I'm not Slaven Bilic, and obviously he sees something different. By the way, Slaven Bilic, what a job he did for West Ham last season. Absolutely superb. I mean, who'd have seen that come in at the start of the season? Absolutely brilliant. Like I said at the start of the show, we had that many questions that we were going to implement them as our topics in the show instead of just answering them at the same time. Because I'll be totally honest, we were kind of expecting to get some daft ones, weren't we?
We were, yes.
In all fairness, we've actually been sent some really, really good, serious ones that we to be honest with you, we were thinking about them ourselves, but these guys that have sent them in have been fantastic. This one's come in from Sam Morris, and he's asked, West Ham start their season in a new stadium. Will the increased capacity and extra income generate chances to break into the top 4 in the next 2 seasons? And can we understand why they left Upton Park? Hell yeah, we can understand why they left Upton Park. Not because Upton Park's not a nice place, because I've been there and it's a lovely, lovely ground. It's fantastic ground, tight to the pitch, and it's a really nice place. However, you've got a chance to move to a 55,000 seater stadium that is ready built. You're gonna go there. I mean, the rent's £2 million a season, and that just covers the league games.
Yeah.
I mean, to play a European game there, they've got to pay an extra 150 grand a game.
Yeah.
But if you can get 55 grand in there, 55,000 fans in there, which I think West Ham will. I think West Ham will fill the stadium, especially with their success last season. I generally do. I think if David Gold, David Sullivan, and Karen Brady play their cards right, and Karen Brady is one smart cookie. She's a very, very good football woman.
Well, businesswoman in general, isn't she?
Yeah,
So
she's a very smart cookie. If they use their brains right, yes, West Ham could easily break into the top 4. If West Ham use their brains right in the next 2 weeks, West Ham could break into the top 4 this season.
yeah.
I don't think they will, but there's still 2 weeks to the start of the Premier League season, and there's still 2 weeks of chances to sign enough players to do it.
But it's all about the foundation of a club, isn't it? The stadium is sort of the first thing you think about, and then the fact it's, as I said, vastly increased capacity, and well, it's perfect for them, really, isn't it? To continue building on the success of last season.
Yeah, I would go at the moment. I would say that West Ham are a no offence, but are a sort of middle of the road club at the moment. But with moving to this stadium, and with what it could entail, they could become one of the biggest clubs in the country.
Yeah.
But they need to keep hold of the likes of Payet, definitely.
He's the big one, isn't he?
Yeah. I think if they can keep hold of Payet this season, build a team around him, sign some decent players, I think that I think they've done well. One player that I'd like to praise for last season is the goalkeeper Adriano.
Yeah.
What a season he had! I mean, the amount of games that he kept West Ham in last season are just fantastic. And I mean, they're underrated goalkeepers in the Premier League. I mean, they've got world-class strikers smashing the ball at them at 70 miles an hour, and they're getting in the way of it. And I think Adriano did well last season.
So was it Alex Ferguson that said that a good goalkeeper can save you 10 points a season?
Yes.
So yeah.
What I would like to say as well, and I'll say it on camera, is for the last 4 or 5 years, have given Mark Noble no end of grief. I said he's nothing more than a penalty taker.
But still English.
Yeah. Last season, I hold my hands up. Mark Noble was absolutely superb, and whether he played for England is a different matter, but he definitely deserved a place in the England squad.
Totally agree.
And I would just like to hold my hands up and say that he was at times West Ham's answer to Liverpool's Steven Gerrard. He pulled them through when they needed to. He scored vital goals, and his attitude, he's a top pro. A top pro. Right, what we're going to do now is we are going to move on to the debacle that was Man City against Man United in China. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go over this quickly, because we got a question in, and it was with the City versus United game being postponed in China, should clubs be putting their players' fitness and preparation towards a new season instead of commercial interest around the world? Yes, Premier League's got enough money.
Yeah, the TV deals and make sure the clubs have enough money. I think it's just greedy to go off to all these places to try and... I get it that you want to get merchandising opportunities in China and Asia and what have you, but I think it's just... Yeah, I'd rather focus on making sure the players were fit, making sure they're prepared, tactics are all set up and everything, rather than to go for a glorified... Well, it's not even glorified friendly, it is just a friendly.
Yeah, I just think that with the TV deals and the coverage worldwide at the moment, I don't think our teams need to go over there and play it. I mean, I know a couple of years ago, wasn't it? It was suggested that they play a 39th game of the season.
Yeah.
What a load of bollocks that was.
The league couldn't keep its integrity or something like that, I think was the reason.
What a load of bollocks. Honestly. Listen, the Premier League generates enough money. They get billions of pounds off TV companies who want to stream their football. Okay? Listen, it is popular worldwide, the Premier League. and whether we go over there or not, they will watch us. They will watch the Premier League.
Yeah.
They will support their teams. They will be out there in their Man United shirts. They will buy them, etc., etc. But say next season they do a tour. I think if United went out there and played a Chinese side,
Yeah.
for a one-off, then yeah, fair enough. But what's the point of playing a Manchester derby in China? What's the point?
Exactly.
There is no point. I mean, yeah, it's just a waste of. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of funds. It's a waste of an aeroplane. And it's just a waste of time. It generally is, and it just got ridiculous when they were actually debating playing on that pitch. Now, did you see the pitch?
I've not seen the pitch.
Oh,
no,
it was it was shocking. I'm a referee, and I'd have called the Sunday League game off for the state of that pitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, right. That's just about all we have for this week. This show. This week we're releasing 2 a week, so again, unscripted, unedited. People make mistakes.
I will say this though, recently I've learnt the difference between Jurgen Klopp and Jurgen Klinsmann, and the ability to listen.
Yeah, I was right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go back to episode 1, okay, me and Gav were talking about the candidates with the England manager, and I said Jurgen Klinsmann, and he thought I said Jurgen Klopp, and he was adamant that I said Jurgen Klopp, and then he went back through it and realised that I was right.
So slightly cringed.
Yeah, so as you know. Anyway, next show we're going to record and we will release on Saturday morning, hopefully. I'm going to a wedding on Friday night, so it might be Saturday afternoon, if we're lucky.
Yeah.
But next week, again, we've got some fantastic questions that have come in that we're going to use as topics, and we're going to answer them. We're going to touch upon... Oh, no, I'm not going to use that word. We're going to look at... we're going to look at, as the signings of 7, 8, 9-year-olds usually being made by elite clubs, a good thing, a bad thing, or indifferent? Is the youth coaching in this country technically inferior and producing technically inferior footballers for the world stage? We're going to touch up on caps on foreign players, wage caps, and eventually it's Premier League prediction time. I don't know why I said that really excited, because we both know full well that it's going to go wrong for both of us, isn't it?
I'm going for Hull to win the league.
Yeah, we may as well. Also, what will be? It will be the league table, the top 6. It'll be the top 6, the relegation, and our prediction of top goal scorer. Mine's Alex Bruce. Just so you out there. And then if anybody wants to send in any questions, like daft ones, we'd like to answer them, because we'd like to keep that as part of the show. We think it brings a little bit of humour to it and a little bit of lightheartedness. And next week we'll finish the show with a debate on whether the Premier League is the best league in the world, which me and Gav are going to have a right royal argument about. But no, thank you very much for watching. Again, please like and subscribe, share it to your friends. Follow us on Twitter, it's @theoffsideflag1, and keep your questions coming in, and thank you for watching. Thank you.
Thank you very much.